I'm Cheyenne. I was actually a hairstylist turned life coach.
Thank you so much, Cheyenne, for being here today, joining my podcast. So, what inspired you to become a life coach and specifically to focus on coaching women?
What inspired me to coach women was that through being in the hair industry and women sitting in my chair, I always listened to I was kind of like a therapist or therapist, right? So women would come into my chair and just like listen, and I would listen to their problems. They would spill the beans and everything. And I also wondered, like, even though I made them feel beautiful on the outside, like some of them didn't feel beautiful in the inside. And so I just thought that was really interesting to me. And so what I found out, or through, reading books and other research, that some women, it's really the power of your thoughts and beliefs and who you think you are, your self-concept. And once your self-concept changes, you're able to be the person you want to be, and everything just kind of like switches the trajectory of your life. And another thing is that just coming from an Asian family or household, I was always the black sheep. And, I felt like nothing was ever good enough, or I was always being compared to. And so it was through my own personal journey where I was looking for answers. Like, I was the outcast, an outlier, like black sheep. And so always sometimes feeling not good enough or compared to, I wanted to heal myself. And through research and spiritual work, I found how it's helped me. And so it's something that I just wanted to help other women in. And specifically, I am trained in neuro linguistic programming, or NLP, which is the language of the mind. And it's basically the study of how successful people become successful, and what are the steps they have taken to become successful. And it's really it's all in the mind, really, and
Yeah.
how there's actually four basic themes to it. Perception is projection, perception is interpretation, cause and effect, and mind, body, spirit. And when all those things, when you see those things from that lens, you're able to create the life you want and be successful.
Yeah, that's so inspiring.
That was a
And
mouthful.
yeah, well, could you share a success story from your coaching experience where you helped a client maybe overcome a sick?
I had a client that wanted to do public speaking, and this is something that I experienced for myself too. And public speaking is one of the number one fears that people have. And so there's a technique that I learned from NLP, and it's called submodality belief change. And what it is that it's a process where we kind of unwire these uh, like little codes in the head. So what happens is, like, we interpret things or take things in through the acronym BACOG. So it's visual, auditory, kinesthetic, for smell, and taste. So
Mm,
when we kind of unwire and rewire that in the mind from when we have like a limiting belief, and replace it with a belief or these codes of what we see to be true. So, like, we know for sure that the sun's going to come out tomorrow.
yeah.
And it's a technique where we kind of replace that limiting belief to a new belief that's for sure, of like, I actually am a powerful speaker, and then replace those keys or those grooves of like a key to unlock a door
Mhm.
to the sun's gonna come out and I am a powerful speaker. We switch those in the mind, and it totally creates a new belief, and the limiting belief has disappeared. So it's pretty cool how it works. The mind is pretty powerful. If there's a limiting belief you have, we would just kind of um, switch things around. So here I have a little bit more of a description of what submodality belief change is, but it's Submodality belief change is a technique used to modify the way one perceives and experiences their beliefs by altering the submodalities associated with them. So it's like gurus and a key to unlock a door. And so the submodalities are finer distinctions or the specific qualities of sensory representations, which are visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory that shape the way we think and feel about the various aspects of our experiences. So, for example, if someone thought they weren't good enough, this belief is not just stored as a simple phrase or thought in their head. So, if you thought, like, oh, I'm not good enough, I suck, and that's just a thought in the mind, it's often accompanied with like a visual, auditory, like a past experience that happened because that belief came from something somewhere when you were younger
Yeah.
and it was an experience. So when that happens time and time again, it 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 gets, it's a belief that we've created. And so um this kind of the submodality belief change technique involves identifying those sensory representations that were put in our minds before and then altering or switching them to change the emotional response and the belief itself. It all comes to the emotions, right? That's related to the belief.
Yeah, what are common challenges women face in achieving work-life balance, and what strategies have proven that effective in managing their challenges?
Many women, I feel like, especially now, they're really in their masculine energy. So, in all of us as a soul, there's a masculine and feminine energy. And the feminine energy is more of a like a relaxed, laid back, nurturing, intuitive energy. And the masculine role is like the doer, the decision maker, and all the things. And in this day and time, especially single women, single mothers that work, we've learned to juggle multiple roles, and that leads to like stress, a feeling of imbalance, and burnout. So I think when women just set clear boundaries, prior prioritizing self care, boundaries are very important, and learning to delegate tasks that can help alleviate all the things that we have to do, cleaning, working, you know, all the things that we do. And so when we just have a little bit more boundaries, prioritizing self-care too, especially because when we feel good, we have to take care of ourselves first in order to be able to serve others or help others. And if we're not taking care of ourselves, then we're not showing up for others the way we need to.
Yeah.
And so just creating a balanced approach with everything for the daily responsibilities and also number one values. My thing is like number one is values, 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 because it's our deepest level programming. And so, yeah.
I also really interesting to hear more about because I remember when I first met you and you gave me some suggestion to focusing more on myself instead of focusing on finding dating people. And at that moment, I feel like I wasn't really hearing. I heard you, but I wasn't really like listening because I feel like in my mind, I still think it's easy. It's dating. It's like you just find a person who can fulfill your requirement or this criteria you wanted. But now I switched my mindset towards to that, maybe more focusing on yourself. And I think, could you share more about how you feel to give suggestions for women in general who's trying to find a great dating person, or like find a great relationship? And what's your advice for them?
Okay, so this is a good question because this is something that I've been through in my life. I actually have an experience where I was with a partner for 10 years and I broke up with him at a training, my neuro-linguistic programming training. And so one of the things that we learned there are values. And once I learned about values, after the call or the training, I called him up and told him he had to leave. And we had been kind of fighting back and forth a little bit about me feeling like I wasn't a priority. Like I felt like he wasn't showing up the way I needed to in the relationship, to where I felt like I was begging for attention or being made a priority. But he told me I was a priority. He's like, no, I'm doing this, I'm doing that for you. You just don't appreciate it. But the thing is that what I what the word priority meant to me meant something different to him. So he thought he was making me a priority based on what he knows the word priority means to him, based on his past experiences. But for me, priority meant like putting me first, just like he kind of would put his mother and grandmother before me. And that's why I fell in love with him. But at the end of it, it just was kind of like a codependent relationship to where I was put on the back burner. So when I found out about values, because values is our deepest level programming. So my values for a relationship was connection, commitment, integrity, um, you know, fun and all that. I realized that he didn't have the same values. And when you don't have the same values, you just can't align. And so he wasn't behaving on what he said his values were. So because he decided to do other things, if I wanted to spend quality time, he would want to go like hang out with his friends or his brother. So his value wasn't connection or communication in the relationship. His values must have been like fun and freedom, because that was the behaviors he's exhibiting. And so when you understand that people have different values and they have different perspectives on what what their values are, you tend to look at it from a different lens, like it's okay, this is just a lesson. Because relationships, all our relationships are our greatest teachers. They show us like what we see we're not seeing in ourselves, or it's an opportunity to self-reflect, like, okay, he's not showing up for me and not doing what I want or what I'm asking. Why do I continue to be in this relationship?
Yeah,
And so, like, why did I stay in it like 3 years longer, 5 years longer? And that's when you just have to realize that you need to put yourself first
yeah,
and know your values. And when you stand true to your values, everything will align the way they're supposed to be. And knowing the other partner's values. So, how I found my new partner now, I met him on a dating app, but I was straightforward with what my values were. And he told me what his values were. And we don't have to have all of the same, but at least a couple of them, at least the first couple. And that's when you can work with each other from there.
yeah, yeah.
So
Now,
values, values, values.
yeah, value yourself. And I think I was talking to a psychiatrist before, and he told me about relationship lessons that from different type of relationship you went through that can taught you to understand yourself too, like what you really
Hmm.
and find your invaluable moment. What is your invaluable saying that is within you? And so maybe some part I really value and he doesn't. And if that's okay for you, or if you want to compromise, or if you two both parties agree to work on it, right? Yeah, so I agree. Uh,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
Relationships are our greatest teachers.
So when speaking of the relationship, so when you are finding your like relationship, would you think that you need to like this person first, or would you rather choose a person who he or this person likes you more first?
You're saying, so when in a relationship or when we're meeting someone, should we like just decide if we like them first or wait for them to make the first move to
Yeah, like
us?
which way do you think?
I just think it's all chemistry. And when you sometimes when you know, I think there first has to be a physical attraction, right? You have
Yeah,
to be like, oh, he's cute, and then the chemistry, and then once as chemistry is important, and once the chemistry, the chemistry is there, it's then, maybe going on a date or two. And if you just want to cut to the chase and not waste any time, talk about what's important to each other in a relationship. I think as an adult, as adults now, especially if you have a child or you've been in previous relationships or a marriage, like I don't want to waste any time. I just want to be like, okay, what's important to you in a relationship? Like I don't want to go like 10 dates later and be like, oh, it just didn't work out. I don't have time for that. I would say, what's important to you in a relationship? Communication, integrity, connection, love, laughter, fun. And if those things align or if that person has the same values, then it's more than likely going to work out, especially if you have chemistry.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
um, so in your coaching practice, how do you address the unique leadership challenges that women face?
Well, think it's interesting. I feel like this day and age, there are a lot of women who are leaders. I think roles have switched and times have switched now to where even in my clientele at the salon, I have a lot of clients that are like C-level executives or CEOs. So it's interesting that the role has switched, but as far as embracing the challenges that they have to face. I think it's just owning who they are and being authentic and just taking a stand for what they believe in. And at the end of it, it's being a leader means being authentic in what you believe. So if women just stay authentic and true to who they are, the challenges just start to be more lessons than challenges. Challenges only help get you to that edge to where then you grow through the challenge. And so I think that's cool that there are a lot of women in leadership and it's only continuing to grow,
Yeah,
especially in the coaching industry and just high level women. It's women rule the world
I
or
agree.
and should. Like if
Um,
we just had all female leaders,
yeah,
the
yeah.
world would be great.
What advice would you give to women looking to improve their financial literacy and independence?
Education, for me, I was lucky. My ex-boyfriend was actually a financial advisor. So he kind of helped get my feet wet in like, you know, stocks, saving money. Stocks, saving money and investments. I've always been like money driven in a way since I was a kid. Like I started working when I was 16 because I wanted to buy what I wanted to buy. And so, just education, like for me, I use a lot of YouTube. Some people that I like on YouTube is this guy, Graham Stephan. There's a girl on there named Investing with Rose, and just continuing to educate myself, save, budget, and maybe working with a financial advisor and
Yeah,
really learning how and where to put your money and
yeah,
watching it grow. It's fun when your money grows.
yeah.
More shopping.
How do you incorporate mental and physical wellness into your coaching practice, and why do you believe that this integration is important?
I think I think it just should be a part of everyone's life and daily routine because not everyone loves to work out. So if you're working out every morning, you're creating that discipline, it um it just helps you set the day forth because you're doing the hard thing already.
Yeah,
And when you're working out and doing something physical, it boosts self-esteem and confidence. It gives you more energy. It it's a disciplinary action that you're taking that you sometimes don't want to do. And it just overall keeps you healthy, mind, body, and spirit. So I think it's important that women and anyone really incorporate physical health and wellness and diet and nutrition, all of it, because the only wealth we have is our health, really.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
so it's very crucial.
Yeah.
And it can be fun. It doesn't have to be like hard to work out. You just have to find a workout that you like, move your body.
I was talking that in my solo episode, the previous solo episode, and regarding to put more workout into your routine because you don't have to have a excessive workout within your, like extra resting day because that's going to add more extra
Mhm.
burden on your mentally, I think. So I just saying if you can add maybe 20 minutes a day that's extra for yourself become a habit and you're not going to worry about putting more efforts into working out or moving. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like even building the habit. Like I've told people or suggested to like for some people that are not active at all, even just start with 5 to 10 minutes, right? And start building that habit of doing the workout. And then as you go and build that habit and it becomes subconscious to where you're already doing the 5 to 10 minutes, then add more time or then add more time. Or even for me, if I can't work out and I'm sitting at my chair all day. I have the little the thigh bands, the resistance bands,
Oh, really? You
you
do?
know. Yeah, and I put it like on my thighs. So if
Oh
I'm
my
sitting here and then
gosh.
I just do like like I'll
That's
do like
so
that
good.
with the bands. And I feel, it starts burning when you're just sitting for a while. So I like try to incorporate mini workouts, even just like that.
I love
And
that.
if someone's sitting at home or working all day, you want to get up from your desk or the computer every 90 minutes because after every 90 minutes, the brain and the brain waves start to go into another brainwave state to where you start to defocus. So every 90 minutes, I think it's great to like do something for get up, walk around, do something for 10 to 15 minutes, maybe
Yeah,
even 5 minutes, and then get back to work.
I agree. I
So
agree.
it can be easy.